Ndakada zvekubhinya mwana wangu wokutanga ye.
Kuti mwana wangu angare wechidiki. Ende mwana wangu 15 years. Form 2.
Ndakapinda mu early marriage. Ndine 15 years. 2009 and I was in form 3.
I'm a sex worker. Tengesa bongo. Usana chimwe chinhu chekuoffer. Ana degree, ana diploma, ana chikoro.
Ya tingati samasabhuku tinenge tichidzidzisa kuti vana vanofanira kuroorwa kana kuroora vabve zera vakuziva.
Ikino mazana mona tine nyaya iya yetinogwaye kwamarange. Vana kuti vanomusunga mwanawo andona vanhu yatwa committee ndita kutopusha kutoti ndamusunge mwana wanga ndi 14 years so.
Yesu vanhu vakuru vasara nemwana mudiki kana kuti vane mwana achiri mudiki ngatizameni pese patinogona kuti tidzidzise mwana. Timuratidze gwara. Timuudze zvakanakira nezvazvakashatira.
Grade 5 vamwe akatonowanikwa izvozvi. Dzongwa tinogona kuti taripota. Vamwe vana vasikana vaviri vatakanga taripotira vana vemapostori. Taripota kuti tiri kushayiwa vana vedu. Nyaya yakazongotsikwa-tsikwa.
Broadcasting live from our Tekman TV studios, my name is Helen Tizamebo, introducing once again that new show tagged the issues and our second episode. Today in the studio we are going to be talking about early child marriages in Zimbabwe, and we are joined by Kamchirai with Voluntary Media Council of Zimbabwe, as well as Yvonne with ZimDaily. Kamchirai, can you please introduce yourself, a brief background of the organization you work with?
Hi guys, my name is Gamchirai Chinamasa. I'm the Programs Officer at Voluntary Media Council of Zimbabwe. We work with media advocacy, training, anything to do with media and helping our journalists and our editors out there. And I'm also a mental health advocate.
Okay, that's a good one. There we are going to be having Voluntary Media Council of Zimbabwe urging and training actually the journalists and media practitioners in Zimbabwe. Yvonne?
Greetings everybody. Thank you so much, Helen, for the invitation. My name is Yvonne Chaka. I'm a freelance journalist and I'm currently stringing for Zimbabwe Daily. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good one. You can see that the environment in the studio today is quite warm, very energetic, and I'm sitting comfortably as you're concerned to us. Did I tell you that? Okay, today are going to be focusing much about early child marriages in Zimbabwe. Last week, we were talking about the case, or the Machaya case. We were identifying actually this girl as Memory Machaya, but rather further investigations revealed that it's not really Memory Machaya, but Anna Machaya. Yvonne, how do you see those developments and new dimensions coming in relating to this case?
Thank you very much. I think when you look at the Anna Machaya, Memory Machaya issue, yes, you'd realize that news nowadays moves faster than due process, and social media does play that particular role where it doesn't wait to fact check issues. They get something without verifying information, without verifying data as it were. They just send online, and gossip actually gets to travel faster. Yes. The very fact that this issue involved a young child, 14-year-old girl who died after giving birth, it brought the emotions that any parent would feel for a child. So naturally it was going to move a little bit faster. You actually saw that there was a petition online coming from Karen Mkwasi, calling for people to sign the petition to urge the government to take action on the Marange girls issue. And this is not a new issue actually. The only reason probably that this got currency is the very fact that social media is now very much alive, and there are pictures, and people want Mavi 11. So the very fact that all that information was available, it made the issue to spread a little bit faster than in other seasons and times. And then we have the police taking its time as usual. Probably it's part of the process of investigating to gather the correct information. So now we know it's not memory, it's Anna, because the police did their work and they were able to arrest the
culprit, yes.
Yeah, all those people linked to the case. So as media, it's a plus because our role is to educate, to inform, and to entertain the world. So how do we deal with issues to do with child marriages probably becomes then the question posed to the media to say, what's our role? What's our responsibility? And how can we improve our communication going forward? We are the fourth estate. We hold the legislation, the judiciary, the executive to account. And when we are dealing with issues like this, we're now asking the legislators, where are the policies? Where are the acts that govern the protection of children? We begin to ask this question so that we expedite the processes of making sure that our children are protected going forward. Yeah.
Very true there, Yvonne. It actually means that the media has a role to make sure that they inform the public,
Definitely.
Provide information as the public good, serving best the interests of the public rather. But in this case, I also got to know that the parents were actually the ones who were involved in faking the identity of their child. I don't know with relation to that, Gamo, how do you view it? What are the challenges that they were actually, what are those challenges that you're actually fearing to face? You know, in this case, we might talk of fear of victimization. You don't know the cultural, the social, and all those challenges that they are facing to make sure that they're trying to shun the identity of their own daughter. What are the challenges, or rather the perspectives relating to that?
I don't even think in this aspect they were trying to protect their own daughter or the identity of their daughter. They were trying to protect themselves.
Right.
Yes.
Because they realized how strong the story had carried because of, like what you've once said, because of social media, the power of social media. We're now in the era of WhatsApp media. It's actually a thing.
Yes.
Where news travels on WhatsApp before it gets to the big houses, because the big houses also have ethical challenges of we can't process the story until we verify the facts and the information. So I think that there couldn't have been any challenges, because in them doing what they did, they were protecting themselves from being arrested. It wasn't necessarily protecting their daughter because their daughter was no more.
Exactly.
There was no protection there. Because how are you protecting your daughter by using another relative's identity and name? There's no real protection there besides trying to combat whatever heavy penalty was going to come their way.
Okay, going with that, Faith, I also understand that given our country, rather, is in a patriarchal state. So with patriarchy now, we try to protect the fathers, we try to protect our cultures. You know, in that regard, they are also trying to protect their religion. The last time we were in this show, we're talking about the dilemma that falls for parents between religion and democracy. We're trying to safeguard our religion that defines our purity before God, but at the same time we see that we are infringing the rights of those little children. I want to understand that in that apostolic sect, Anna Machaya is not the first one to be married at a very tender age. But then when we have different organizations now talking about the issue of child marriages in Zimbabwe because of this case where we have a child that has already died, how many children in Zimbabwe are we going to have who die of these early child pregnancies? Because they are not really protected. Now my question is, as journalists, as the media, we talk about minority rights reporting. I've grown to understand that in most cases, media practitioners are just enthusiastic about reporting, coming up with something new that they have not even checked if it's factual, if it's professional, or rather credible. We have different organizations, yes, like you, VMCZ, we have Zimbabwe Online Content Creators trying to come up with professional, credible, and ethical considerations, right, in terms of reporting. But then when you're saying we have media players that are online, Yvonne, how do they check if the information that has been propounded credible? How do you say that this information, how could we even see, because it was all over social media, Memory Machaya, when in actual fact, it's Anna Machaya. Why that? How best can you regulate those online players?
Online players, that's a very interesting question, because we have online content creators who are not necessarily journalists.
Yes.
They're not trained journalists. They don't know that there's ethics in media. How do you even cover children's stories, for example? How do you put it all out there? You know, we have seen over the years just that flagrant disregard of ethics in journalism online, because for starters, you look at myself running an online media platform, and maybe I engage young people in the community and say, come and assist me, give me news and stuff. They're excitable. You know, they are not grounded in something. They don't really know the norms and the values and the ethics that govern media, and in particular reportage around and on children. So there's that need to strike a balance. But when you look at the current case, this is not the first time, like you have said, but it is also not the only circumstance that is there. What has happened is the Anna Machaya issue has been escalated. So because it has been escalated, it has caused society to constantly look into that issue. But the thing is, society, the way we function and operate is such that you would ask, didn't the people, the community settled around Anna at the time when she was pregnant know that this one is a baby and she's carrying a child? What do they do about it?
It's not the first time.
They are used to it. And if you look at the Joan Marange set, it's a secret society on its own. So it actually needs someone from within who is then able to come out and say, this is what happens. When you're an outsider and you go in there, no one is going to give you that information. So we come up with the issues of investigative journalism. That becomes very important. But you need to understand that there will always be gatekeepers. There will always be people who are trying to protect the information of what happens really within the Marange sect. So it's not a one-day activity. It's going to take a long time for one to immerse themselves into the culture of the Joan Marange sect so that they can gain trust from within and begin to unravel some of these things that we are currently facing. It is not easy. Sometimes we tend to stand and point fingers. The government is not doing this. But we as government, we are the government. We are the people. We are staying in communities. I mean, this issue of child marriages, even issue of child labor, these are issues that are happening in society that people are not talking about because there is poverty, you know, and there's no reason for a 14-year-old girl who is seated at the house, who is not going to school, to remain seated, go and find work. So if a relative comes from the city and they've got a job from a friend to clean the house, why not? There are no specific skills that are needed for that. A child is taken on board. And I see this, it's my neighbor who has got this child. I'm not going to report to the police because I'm understanding that this child needs the $50 or $40 that they're getting to send back home to feed and to also take care of fellow siblings. So there's a lot of child abuse that is taking place within our society, and we are not talking about it because it has become norm. This is the way of life. This is how our society is operating. So the issue of child marriage, this is definitely not the first time that the issue is being talked about. It has just been illuminated because Anna Machaya died. But if she gave birth properly, no one was going to be talking about it. You know, even that whole picture and stuff now that it's coming out and it's going on and people feel like, oh, there's a child who is pregnant. It's like we are shocked. But every day we are confronted with these realities. I can't even walk up to this young girl who is pregnant and say, who is the, you know, that kind of thing. Because society will also look at you and say, are you crazy? So you know, that kind of thing. So it's a holistic approach that we need to take, especially when it comes to child marriages. It's important to empower the children to understand what they need to do and how they need to protect themselves. And also the state institutions, how do they come on board to uphold that?
I would actually want to applaud the government for that. You know, we have different organizations, for example, the Msasa Project, that are now in Zimbabwe trying to make sure that they stop, Msasa is actually focusing on domestic violence. But honestly, we have institutions like Shamari Manaskan. They're trying to come in and educate the little girls on what they must really do in a case that they are raped, in a case that they face sexual harassment, incivility, and bullying. But then in this case, given such institutions are already there, it takes someone who has his or her daughter at home so that they talk to her, educate her on a parental level, so that when such happens, we keep such instances. Because in this regard, we cannot be talking about the protection of child rights or the protection of the girl child when their parents don't even know those rights. They ought to be educated. But then the case of Anna Machaya is further disheartening because Anna Machaya dropped out of school. Despite those basic rights of rights to education, health, she was denied even the right to health on account of religion. So someone was actually saying that the cases of early child marriages in Africa have a social background, they have a cultural impact on this, because given those situations, we cannot report. Where would you go if your father is actually saying, my child is okay as it is? The father is the one who goes to that same apostolic sect, so they follow the rules there.
You're right.
And then they are based on spiritual finding, as I was saying
That's why I said it's normal.
Yes.
Because in this secret society, this is what they do.
Yes.
If the prophet finds this child adorable, they want that child. And the child is obliged to follow what the prophet says, because this is what they've been socialized into believing. So each time the child actually knows that I'll get married to prophet so and so.
You know, because to be proud of.
Yes, and it's something to be proud of because it's within their system now. So it's going to take much more than just saying Anna Machaya arrest this one. There's need for education, there is need for enlightenment, there is need to go into the minds, the psyche of these people to understand that, you know, their children, they are still babies. We need to appreciate where they are coming from. It's normal. So we need to educate them to change their mindset, to change the way they view things in society. And this takes now back to us, right? We said we're going to come and talk about child marriages in Zimbabwe and the role of the media in all of that. We need to begin to find new ways of engaging these secret societies, because as it were, they are okay doing that. Education, you are saying it becomes an infringement, because the moment the child is enlightened, the moment they understand their rights, they're going to stand against the rules and regulations of the home. Where would that child go to? You know, these days, like I said, poverty has just driven people into doing.
This was quite an interesting show that we are having with Gamchirai, with Voluntary Media Council of Zimbabwe, as well as Yvonne with Zimbabwe Daily. It was quite an insightful discussion where we were talking about minority rights reporting, investigative journalism, importance in making sure that we reach out to child marriages in Zimbabwe, shun them and curb them. Once again, this was an interesting show. We're talking about child marriages in Zimbabwe, and I am your host, Helen Chizamepo. # breaking the silence and changing the systems. Do not forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at techmec.tv. This is all we had for today. Thank you and goodbye.